Good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we were talking about units of time. So, today we are applying those basic units, especially with hours and minutes, to the passing of time. So, thinking about how long it takes to do something. If you start at one time and it takes a certain amount of time to finish it, at what time do you end? If you end at a certain time and it took a certain amount of time, what time did you begin? So this is all about measuring the passing time. So it's mostly going to be hours and minutes. It could be longer than that, but the ones we're going to practice today are all having to do with basically using the time on a clock. So hours and minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with this scenario. I spent 1 hour and 35 minutes doing yard work. I stopped at 1:20 p.m. for lunch. What time did I start doing yard work? Okay. There's a couple of ways to do this. I'm going to show you the very best way first, and that is the way I encourage you to do this. And then I'm going to show you an alternate way, which I don't recommend for everybody, but some of us are going to try to do anyway, I'm going to explain it when I get there. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So this is the very best way, is to make a number line or a little timeline. And because I know my ending time, that's my lunch. This is my end time. I need to go to the end of my number line here and label that 1:20, and that's my lunch. And so I know it took me 1 hour and 35 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to jump back an hour. That's pretty easy for me to figure out. So that's 1 hour. So what's 1 hour before 1:20? Well, that's going to be 12:20. Okay, so far easy breezy, not too bad. So the next part, I have 35 minutes. Okay, I can do this several ways. I can think of this as units of 5. I can say, okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and stop there. I can do that. I can think of it as 3 units of 10 minutes. 10, 20, 30, and then count another 5. Or I can say, well, there's 20 minutes here. If I were to jump back 20 minutes, that would get me to the next hour, which would be noon. Okay, so that's 20 minutes. So I had 35. And so I went ahead and took out that 20. So I have 15 minutes left to account for. So I could just jump that 15 minutes, right? And that would be pretty easy from 12. That would make it 11:45. If I wanted to, I could say 10 minutes, which would be 11:50, and then another 5 minutes would make it 11:45. However you feel comfortable doing it. I'm going to go ahead and say 15 minutes. Then that will take me to 11:45. That was my start time. Okay. This is probably the best way to do this problem because you can see it's lined up. You can account for all of the parts. You can count for the hours and the minutes. And then you can think about, like, when we're crossing over that noon and we're going from like 11, 12 to 1, it's really easy to see that and not get mixed up. Okay, so this other way, I've seen students all throughout the years wanting to stack and add or stack and subtract. You can, but you have to be super careful about regrouping. So I'm going to show you what that would look like. And I would say this is only good if you need to check your work, or if you just want to challenge yourself, go for it. So by saying I finish at 1:20, that's 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay. And then I need to take away the 1 hour and 35 minutes from it, okay? You have to make sure your hours are with your hours and your minutes are with your minutes. We run into a problem right away, though, because I cannot take away 35 from 20. I have to regroup. Put the subtraction sign there. Okay. So when you regroup, I'm going to take away an hour. So instead of 1 o'clock, it's now going to be 12 o'clock. I'm going to take that, and then that was an hour that I took away. So I have to turn that into minutes. That's 60 minutes. Well, that 60 minutes is now being added to the 20 minutes. So now that is 80 minutes that I'm subtracting from. Okay? Yeah, that's, if you're trying to do it this way, this is how you have to regroup it. Okay, now I can take away 35 from 80. And so you can do that, just like stack it up and subtract it if you want. It's going to end up being, oops, sorry, I did this wrong. It's going to be 45 minutes that's going to be left. Okay, and so again, since we're subtracting, we're going backwards in time. I take away 1 hour from the 12, so that would be 11. So my time would be 11:45 a.m. And that is the exact same thing I got over here, but I had to regroup. Do I recommend this? No, it's not for everybody. Try it, go for it, but just know that this is not going to always get you the right answer if you're not regrouping. If you're regrouping, it's just fine. This is the best way where you don't have to worry about regrouping. Okay? Next. You went for a walk at 10:05 a.m. and stopped 23 minutes later to talk to a neighbor. At what time did you talk to your neighbor? Okay, now we're going to ignore the fact that we're going to say maybe this was times before COVID-19, or maybe we were standing 6 feet apart from our neighbor. Maybe we were wearing a mask, all that good stuff. So I'm not going to worry too much about that part. We're just going to look at the math. So we're starting this time. We have the start time at 10:05 a.m. and we know that it's 23 minutes. I'm going to break this up into, since I've got 20, 2 groups of 10, and then I'm going to do the 3 minutes on top of that. So that's 1 group of 10. That takes me to 10:15. I'm going to do another group of 10 minutes. That's going to take me to 10:25, and then I have those 3 minutes left. Well, 25 plus 3, or 5 plus 3 is 8, so it'd be 28, so 10:28 a.m. That's going to be when I stop to talk to my neighbor. Okay, again, that's the best way to do your work for this one. If I wanted to show it this way, I have 10:05, so I've got my hours and my minutes. It's 23 minutes later. And we're adding them, so it's time it's passing. So I can just add these up. 5 plus 3 is 8. And then I'm not adding any hours to it. So 10 hours, 28 minutes, or 10:28 a.m. And I got the same answer here as I did here. This one did not require any regrouping, so it works. It's fine. All right. Okay. Let me get my head of myself over here. This next one. Coding class is 1 hour, 15 minutes long and ends at 12:45 p.m. So again, we're we're given the ending time and we need to find out the starting time. Okay, so I know that it's ending at 12:45 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and label this 12:45. And I know that I can jump an hour, and that makes it real nice and easy for me. So 1 hour, if I go back in time 1 hour, that's going to make it 11:45 a.m. Okay, and then I had that 15 minutes. Well, the good thing is when I think of the quarters in time, so I could take away another 15 minutes. I would, if I wanted to, if I didn't know my quarters, my time quarters very easily, I could easily do 3 5-minute chunks and jump back 3 times, like this. And I could say, okay, well, that's 11:45, so that'd be 11:40, 11:35, 11:30. Or I could think of this as 15 minutes and just jump back 15 minutes to 11:30. And that's going to be my start time. Okay, 11:30 a.m. This was p.m., so we have to be careful with that. We can check it the way I was talking about. So if I'm trying to find the start time, so we're taking this away, 12 hours, 45 minutes. So I'm going to take away 1 hour and 15 minutes. This one I don't even have to do any regrouping. So it's going to be 30. 12 minus 1 is going to be 11. So then we have 11:30 a.m. And that's exactly what we got over here. All right, good deal. So I'm going to take this scenario and we're going to continue on. Let's say we started another class, another lesson, maybe piano or whatever, and it was another hour and 15-minute lesson, and it began directly after this one finished. So 12:45. At what time will that class finish? Okay, so this time I'm going to start at 12:45, and then we're going to jump an hour. So that would mean 1:45, 1 hour. And then we have that 15 more minutes. So we could do that as 3 groups of 5. Or you could just do a bump of 15 minutes, whatever your brain works better with. So 45 plus 5 would be 50, 55. And then the next hour would be 2 p.m. Okay? Or you could just say, well, I know that 45 plus my next 15-minute chunk takes me to the next hour, which would be 2 p.m. Okay, so I'm going to check my work the regrouping way I've been showing you. So I have my 12:45, and we're adding 1 hour, 15 minutes. Okay, so we're adding. Okay, so I'm adding 45 and 15 minutes. That's going to get me 60 minutes. What do we know about 60 minutes? 60 minutes is equal to an hour. I'm going to take away those 60 minutes. I'm going to change that to another hour. Okay, so then this is going to become 0. You might be saying, but why? Why is it 0? It's 60. Well, yeah, because once, just like once you get 10 dimes, it turns into $1. And so you can exchange that for $1 if you wanted to. This, once you have 60 minutes, it adds up to an hour, so we can put it with the hours. That's the best thing to do with it. Well, that's what we have to do, actually. So I have 12 plus another hour. This is the tricky part, because we could go to 13, but we know, unless we're doing military time, it goes to the next, it starts over again at 1 p.m. So plus 1 would be 13, right? Would really makes it 1 o'clock. So 13 o'clock in military time really is 1 o'clock. Plus another one makes it 14. So 14 hours minus 12, because we know that we start over again. That gets us to 2. So our answer is 2 hours and 0 minutes, or 2 o'clock p.m., which is what we got over here. So this is my question to you. If this regrouping is going to get confusing, that's why I ask you to always stick with this method, because it can get a little hairy when we're going from AM to PM, and when we're regrouping from the 12 o'clock hour to the 1 o'clock hour and the 2 o'clock hour. The main thing is you just have to be mindful of that process. All right, have fun, and of course, reach out to me if you have any questions, and good luck.